Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy James, and I'm coming at y'all with my second team in the previewing and predicting all 30 NBA team series. And that team today is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Um, if you guys do enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot because I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos. But starting off with the 76ers, the first thing I want to talk about is their offseason additions. And they brought in three pretty main guys, I would say. Or two main guys, and Daniel House. Sorry, Daniel House. But that being PJ Tucker and D'Anthony Melton, which I believe off the top of my head was pick 23 straight up. Um, but then they gave Daniel House 2 for 8, I believe. But talking about those additions, the one on the highest on is obviously PJ Tucker. I mean, when you can add PJ Tucker to your team, you're just bound to be a better team. He knows his role so well. He does his role so well. Um, Obviously, the 3 years is concerning, but when you have James Harden at his age, there's no time to wait. You can't worry about not signing PJ Tucker because one team's going to offer him 3 for or 2 for 20 and he'll only come for you for 3 for 30. This is a pretty much championship or bust season, even though you do have Harden under contract for 2 years. Um, I believe there's an opt out after this year. But PJ Tucker, great signing. Definitely tampering, by the way, off topic, but can we find them, please, or do whatever you guys do? But yeah, PJ Tucker, great ad. When you add PJ Tucker to your team, you're bound to win. And then D'Anthony Melton, which I talked about, a good, solid bench guy. I'm interested to see if it's Milton at the 2, because I believe Shake Milton is 6'5", so maybe you'll go Melton. Also, this depth chart is whack, but I think your bench would be Milton, holy shit, House, Korkmaz, Reed, probably. I don't really like Thibault that much, and Yang is cool, but I would probably like Korkmaz a little more. I might even like Thibault a little more. But another pretty deep roster. Um, Even guys like Isaiah Joe I've seen play decent before. Um, so yeah, and then you had Daniel House who was 2 for 8, which is cool. He's another 3-and-D wing. So good on them for signing him. The second topic I want to get into is the James Harden pay cut and also what to expect from James Harden. Because at this point in his career, James Harden is getting up there in age, and I think people are growing to expect a little too much from him. Most guys, especially someone who's as ball dominant as he was in Houston, don't make it to age 32 and play as good as James Harden is. There is injury concerns, and people believe that his hamstring was still bothering him. I don't know if that's true or not, but with James Harden, I kind of just think he a very talented playmaker, but I think he'll kind of be a scorer in spurts type of guy. I don't think you'll ever see him as consistent as he was in Houston. But even this game, I was showing. It's over now, but this like fourth quarter against Miami, this is the kind of Harden I think we'll grow to see, and that's just a guy who he's going to score obviously, but I think he'll be a get hot type of guy where he's going to score in spurts a lot because on this team, I mean, you still have Tobias Harris, which some people don't like, but Tobias Harris is a great player. And then you have Tyrese Maxey, who will probably take that next leap. I'm very high on Maxey, and I actually like his fitting in the backcourt with Harden. Defense is a question between that backcourt, but I like Maxey. And like I said, I think Harden, at this point in his career, and trust me, there's nothing wrong with this, but I just don't think he has that same explosiveness as he did in Houston. But he never really relied on it all that much. I mean, obviously he did, but it wasn't the main point of his game. But I think he'll definitely give you 20 a night at least. He'll be a 20 and 10 guy. But when you watch James Harden, I think you'll see him get hot and score in spurts more than just the complete guy he was in Houston. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick with Harden was his pay cut. It just shows a good sign of commitment. So shout out James Harden for taking that pay cut. It helped them get Tucker. I think Melton's on a pretty good contract, and then giving House on that 4 year. So James Harden, great on him for taking that pay cut. It shows commitment because obviously went from Brooklyn to Sixers real quick, and some people even thought he was going to leave after the playoff series. And then the last guy I just want to talk about is Joelle Embiid. He's a guy that I am so high on, but I just can't get over his injury concerns. It just seems like he can't stay on the court. And when you're trying to win a championship, and I say this as a Clippers fan a lot too, when you have James Harden, who's been somewhat injury prone lately, and Joel Embiid as your two stars, it's going to take a lot of luck. Two injury prone stars leading the way is not great. Now, like I said, Maxey, I'm very high on. Tobias Harris is a great, third, fourth option. And this is a deep team. I mean, Niang plays his role really well. But when you just have two guys who are so injury prone as your top two, it's tough. Even like with a guy with AD, even though he's the two, it was the same sort of thing. But it's just hard for me to look at this team and say, they can stay healthy for a whole playoff run. Um, and then the last thing I did want to talk about was I want to do a quick would you rather. I think it's a good way to like kind of assess where I think of this team. So I'm just going to name the top teams in the East and kind of say where would you rather, because I am a little higher on the Sixers than some people are. Um, but I'm going to name probably 6 teams here. The first team is the Celtics. I'm taking the Celtics over the 76ers. Nothing even against the Sixers, and there is a world where the Sixers can win, but I just think the Celtics, especially with Al Horford and Robert Williams, that's a matchup nightmare for Embiid. Obviously, he's still going to score, but it's not a great matchup with him. And then when you have Brown, Tatum, Smart, who can all be switching on Maxey, Harden, and Tobias, I'm taking the Celtics pretty easily. The next team is the Nets. I'm probably taking the Sixers over the Nets. The big thing is definitely interior defense, and I am higher on some Claxton than some people are, but I don't think he's a starting center. And I just think Embiid's killing that team. Um, just the perimeter defense in general. They added T.J. Warren and Royce O'Neal, so good on them. But I think pretty confidently I would take the Sixers in that series. Um, I think the Maxi would probably eat. I think Kyrie's a better defender than some people give him credit for. But I think I'm taking the Sixers. The other team that I pretty confident would beat the Sixers is the Bucks. I just think the Bucks are so fluent. It might not even be a pure talent thing, but they just know what they're doing. They've got your guy in Drew Holiday, who's been inconsistent offensively over his tenure with the Bucks. At least playoff wise, he was pretty bad in that finals run offensively. Um, I think I would take the Bucks. I just think Giannis would eat. Obviously, a good matchup with him and Embiid, but just the way that Middleton, Holiday play off each other, and then I'm blanking, but even Brooke Lopez spreading the floor. I'm gonna do 3 more, actually 4 more. The next one is the Bulls. Pretty confidently taking the Sixers. I just think Embiid is going to eat. I mean, there's no disrespect to Vucevic or Pat Will or Drummond. I mean, Embiid is killing them, and I don't think they have although great offensive team, I don't think they have the offense to outscore um, Philly as well. And another thing I do want to mention real quick is the defense is looking pretty good. For Philly, I mean, Tucker, great defender. We know that. Tobias Harris, definitely a plus defender. Maybe not plus, but plus defender. House, good 3-and-D guy. Matisse, we know what Matisse does. I'm not high on Matisse just because I think his offense is that bad. Um, but a pretty good defensive unit. Even Korkmaz is okay. And then Embiid, obviously a great one. Paul Reed is someone who I thought they were silly for not playing over DeAndre Jordan, but I don't know much about him, to be honest. I just know he was way better. So I'm glad to see that they're actually going to let him run the backup center. 2 more teams. Next one is the Hawks. I think, the Hawks did beat them, and I like the Hawks a lot, but I'm think pretty confidently I'm going to take the Sixers. The DeJounte Murray backcourt with Trae Young, we're going to have to see how it works. Clint Capella is a good center, but even then, I don't. Like I said, I'm very high on the Hawks, and I think there is a way that they can win. Like with the Bulls, I don't think there's a way they win. With the Hawks, I think there is a way, but I don't think even then with Trey, DeJounte, Collins, Hunter, the guys they got off their bench, I don't really think you're outscoring this team. So I'm going to take the Sixers there. And the last team is the Raptors, who actually, I believe they were down 3-0, put in a couple good games, and I think Scotty was in and out that series. I'm high on the Raptors. They were my surprise team last year, and they outplayed that. But I'm going to take the Sixers. God, that Raptors team is really good, man. We'll have to see what it turns out with KD, because I think he might be the most... that might be one of the more realistic options. But I think I'm probably going to take the Sixers. I want to see the reasoning. I'm not too sure, to keep it a straight stack off the top of my head. But that's it for the Would You Rather section. If you guys would like me to do that with more competitive teams, let me know. I think it's kind of cool because I get to talk about how teams match up, even though I don't think I did a great job with it this time. And then getting into my prediction, it's hard to do teams like this. The Clippers pop out. I'm trying to think, even the Lakers, because this is a team that most likely you're going to get 50 games from Embiid and 60 from Harden, which is I'm a guy that thinks that if you play 50 games a year, you're fine. But it's hard to do a prediction just because of how injury prone they are. So I think I'm going to give them 52 wins, I believe 52 and 30. And I don't really think that's just based off talent. I think that's just based off regular season's kind of weird. You're not amped up for it, and I could see Harden having some stinkers in the regular season and with playoffs too as well. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna continue to get better at this, so I'm sorry if the first two haven't been the best. But if you guys enjoy, please like and subscribe. The first one actually did pretty well. The view to like ratio wasn't crazy good, but it's the most views that I've gotten on a video, and it's a day old. So I appreciate you guys for that. Hopefully we can continue to build. Once an NBA season starts, we're really going to get it kicked up. I just clicked on Tyrese Maxey. But other than that, please let me know how I can improve the series. I had a little more to look over last time than just staring at a depth chart with Orlando, so I'll try to get more things going. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. Please like and subscribe.